On the news tonight, former Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu convicted for organ trafficking, sentenced to 9 years and 8 months in prison. And 9 years after, troops rescue 2 more Chibok girls. And shops raised as fire breaks out at Lagos Alaba Market. Glad to have you join us on News Now. I am Mary Kanu. The former Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu has been sentenced to 9 years and 8 months in prison for organ trafficking. The sentencing was done on Friday at the Central Criminal Court, Old Bailey, UK. At the sentence hearing, Ekweremadu's wife Beatrice was sentenced to 4 years and 6 months imprisonment, while Dr. Obinna Obeta received a 10-year prison term. The sentencing follows their conviction in March for organ trafficking, as they were alleged to have attempted to convince doctors at the Royal Free Hospital in London to perform an £80,000 transplant on the donor, who was presented as the cousin of their daughter Sonia. Sonia, who was diagnosed with a rare kidney disease, was however cleared of any wrongdoing. Well, to give us a better understanding of this case, legal expert Evans Ufeli joins me now on the news from London. Thank you very much for joining me. Now, for a case, that dragged on from June 2022, it's almost a year later, and the sentencing is finally in, 9 years and 8 months for Ike Ekweremadu in this unprecedented case. Did you expect this verdict?
Well, can I get a question?
All right, I said it's been almost a year later and the sentencing is finally in. We have, for Ike Ekweremadu, it's now 9 years and 8 months. He has been sentenced for that long. So did you expect this verdict?
Well, I think the verdict was expected because the evidence against Ike Ekweremadu, the wife and the doctor in question, were quite overwhelming. Especially when there was also the complainant who gave oral evidence to the effect that he was actually brought into the country for a different purpose. But it turned out that Ike Ekweremadu and the wife with the doctor had other plans, to harvest his kidney for the purposes of transplant. And the evidence was overwhelming, especially when the probative entrenchment of it became so clear and glaring that intentions of the senator was to ensure that the boy was used, his organs harvested for the purposes of using same to help the daughter, who is under serious medical condition. Now, the probative value of this was quite very exhaustive, because if you look at the trial went so deeply into the facts of the case to the point where this evidence were unearthed. And this all point to the fact that the intentions of parties in question, that is why the court had no other option than to convict them according to the provisions of the Modern Slavery Act of 2015. This conviction is actually
You've mentioned this Modern Slavery Act. This is the first time, since you mentioned the act, this is the first time organ harvesting conspiracy charges, have been brought under this same act. That's the UK's 2015 Modern Slavery Act. Now, this feat has now been set by Nigerians, not just any Nigerian, but a lawmaker, that is Ike Ekweremadu. So how big a dent is this on the country's image?
Well, it's a big dent on the country's image. Part of our clamor had been that the leaders of Nigeria should try as much as possible to give the citizens public health care, because it is the lack of public health care that have created this. And then being the fact that Nigeria is also the one breaking the record for this law, and we are being put there in the public glare for the wrong reasons and for very criminalistic reasons from, a one-time a deputy senate president. That for me shows that we have not really done well, and that has put a lot of dent, a serious dent on the. We already have that very negative reputation sometimes across the world, and we're adding more to it. I think it's time for the Nigerian leaders to use this case as a point of reference to refrain from corruption, and then provide for the citizens so that they too can be first beneficiaries of the facilities of the state, and that is the only way to have an advancement. If they continue this way, you are going to have more cases of this nature, and that will not be good for us in the long run.
Now, legal expert Evans Ofeli, thank you very much for your time. And out of security matters, 2 more Chibok girls, Esther Marcus and Hawa Malta, have been rescued by troops of the Nigerian Army, bringing the number of unaccounted girls to 96. According to the Army, the girls were rescued after escaping from Boko Haram camp in the Sambisa forest. The rescue comes 9 years after Boko Haram terrorists stormed the government secondary school, abducting 276 girls while they were writing the West African Senior School Certificate examination. While parading the rescued girls at the command headquarters of the Theatre Command, Major General Ibrahim Ali said the girls will be handed over to the state government for further rehabilitation.
Chibok girls are, first, we have Esther Marcus, Esther Marcus, and her 1-year-old baby, Joeria, were rescued by our troops of 114 Task Force Battalion Beta at Lagara during our operations. She is serial number 103 on the abducted Chibok girls list. Esther is 26 years old, Kibaku by tribe, from Jila in Chibok, local government area of Borno State. While in captivity, she was forcefully married to one Garba, also known as Garus, a Boko Haram terrorist fighter who was killed during operations, that is during our operations on terrorist enclaves after a clash between the Jazz elements and the ISWAP elements. She was later married off to another Boko Haram terrorist fighter known as Abba in Ukuba terrorist enclaves in Sambisa forest until her rescue.
And a fire outbreak has been reported at the Alaba International Market in the Ojo area of Lagos State. The Director, Lagos State Fire and Rescue Service, Adeseye Margaret, said the incident took place on Friday afternoon. She said the fire affected mainly the shanties used as shops in the popular market, adding that an angry mob prevented the firefighters from gaining access to the affected areas to quell the inferno. She, however, said security operatives were on top of the situation and that the agency was collaborating with the security operatives to address the situation. And the call for the creation of state police has once again been re-echoed by the former governor of Ondo State, Olusegun Mimiko, at an event organized by Change and Development Forum by Dari Adeboye Foundation in Ogun State. Mimiko, in his keynote address, charged the incoming administration to put into effect the concept of state policing, as this, he says, will reduce the spate of criminality in Nigeria. He further said centralizing policing system in the country cannot secure Nigeria because of its diversity and size.
The role of legislators in the minds of people have been so muddled up. A lot of people believe that the role of legislators is all the empowerment they do, providing boreholes, giving hair dryers and all of that. No, they must know that primarily is for legislation. Legislation that will change the circumstance of the country lies within their reach. They are also supposed to hold the executive to account. They have the power to sanction the executive so that we will be sure that the taxpayers' money gets spent according to law.
Talking about accountability and then setting agenda for the next administration. What His Excellency has done is to put that in the public domain, to say we're doing these things and let people see it and let people critique it. So we have a feedback mechanism that says, are we doing the right things? Who are those people who are going to do the checks and balances? Who are going to be the moderators? Who are going to be those who will modulate what you are doing? And if every administration takes that into consideration, then you will see that your state begins to grow gradually.
We should have a plan as Dare Adeboye Foundation to consistently, maybe something done twice a year, especially now that there's a new season of another 4 years for most of the people in government to come and give out accountability and share what it is that they are doing. And of course, we would fact check. We know that a bill has been passed into law by the Nigerian government to allow you to ask for information.
The Lagos State government says the constant flooding being experienced on Lagos Island will cease by July 2023. Permanent Secretary, Office of Drainage and Environmental Services, Lekan Shudende, said this during an inspection of an ongoing construction aimed at channeling water from the canal at an upscale neighborhood in the lagoon. The Environment Ministry says the state is working tirelessly to resolve the lingering flooding issue.
The predominant area that has actually affected is the Okwawu area. Any small rain, even if other areas are dry, there's no time the drain, but Okwawu will be flooded because it is very, very low. Getting natural energy to discharge into the lagoon is not feasible. So we in the ministry now propose to have a pumping station. So what we're doing now is we're going to create a diversion channel that will bring the Evans collector to the Jankana collector, where we're going to create a sump. We're going to, introduce, big turbine pumps, 3 million liters per hour capacity. Each pump is going to be able to move 3 million liters in 1 hour. We're installing 3 pumps. The master plan we have, the drainage master plan for the ministry, says you must go 3.75 above the mean sea level now. That means, so going into the future, the ocean will be rising. That's why it never used to be like this. And it never was like this. But because of climate change, the lagoon is rising because of the ocean effect, and it's going to be like that until we've all gone. So we need to be able to prepare for that area. Whoever is going to be building in the future must take that into cognizance.
The West African Examinations Council, WAEC, has disclosed that a total of 1.6 million candidates from 20,851 secondary schools are to sit for 2023 West African Senior School Certificate Examination for school candidates. The head of the Nigerian National Office, Patrick Aragon, who made the announcement, said the examination will take place between Monday, May 8 and Friday, June 23, 2023 in Nigeria, spanning a period of 7 weeks. Aragon added that the candidates would be examined in 76 subjects, as he hinted that about 30,000 practicing senior secondary school teachers nominated by the various state ministries of education would be participating in the examination as supervisors.
The penalties for involvement in examination of classes will always, without compromise, be meted out to any candidates, invigilators, supervisors, schools, white officials, etc., as will be approved by the Nigerian Examinations Committee, which is the higher decision-making organ of the council that sits on examination matters in Nigeria. The council, on its part, has rolled out several awareness campaigns, organized seminars for school proprietors, principals, teachers, students, and other stakeholders in branch and zonal offices nationwide to sensitize them on the evils of this act, or rather on the ease of this evil.
Well, we'll take a break here, but still to come, WHO declares COVID-19 no longer global health emergency. Details of the story and more when we return. Join us again.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On Digi 360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
Digi 360, dissecting the issues.
Corruption not in my country.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, madam.
My name is Alero. I am not sick. I just need you to help put your stamp on this medical report. I want to tender it at my office as a sick leave. I'll pay 10,000 naira.
Ma'am, that is impersonation. I'm not a doctor.
Oga, be like say this English no go pay. I go increase the money to 20,000 naira. I beg. You know, if I give you that 20,000, as you wide, so if it still help your condition more. So you know, say you spread well.
As I spread like virus, I'll be.
You talk.
Come out! If person come your hospital, talk say make you give a fake medical report, make you go take collect sick leave. Talk and say no, not corruption, not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Stop corruption now.
Welcome back. Here's a recap of our top stories. Former Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu has been sentenced to 9 years and 8 months in prison for organ trafficking. At the sentence hearing on Friday at the Central Criminal Court, Old Bailey, UK, Ekweremadu's wife Beatrice was sentenced to 4 years and 6 months imprisonment, while Dr. Obinna Obeta received a 10-year prison term. We also told you that 9 years after their abduction, 2 more Chibok girls, Esther Marcus and Hawa Molte, have been rescued by troops of the Nigerian Army, bringing the number of unaccounted girls to 96. According to the Army, the girls were rescued after escaping from Boko Haram camp in the Sambisa forest. Well, in case you missed any of the news bulletin or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex4 TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, on Facebook at TV360 Online. The World Health Organization has officially declared an end to the COVID-19 global health emergency, saying that the disease is here to stay, but still a threat that kills hundreds across the world each day. In a press conference, WHO Director General Tedros Ghebreyesus said while the health emergency is now over, countries will now need to shift to manage COVID-19 like other infectious diseases.
For more than a year, the pandemic has been on a downward trend, with population immunity increasing from vaccination and infection, mortality decreasing, and the pressure on health systems easing. The emergency committee met for the 15th time and recommended to me that I declare an end to the public health emergency of international concern. I have accepted that advice. It's therefore with great hope that I declare COVID-19 over as a global health emergency. However, that does not mean COVID-19 is over as a global health threat. This virus is here to stay. It's still killing, and it's still changing. The risk remains of new variants emerging that cause new surges in cases and deaths. The worst thing any country could do now is to use this news as a reason to let down its guard, to dismantle the systems it has built, or to send the message to its people that COVID-19 is nothing to worry about. What this news means is that it's time for countries to transition from emergency mode to managing COVID-19 alongside other infectious diseases.
We'll take a break and be back with business updates. Stay with us. Welcome back. It's time for business news and stock market report with Folashade Ogurinde. Folashade, what's the latest?
Many thanks, Mary. In business, the Senate Committee on Power has reviewed the gains and profits Nigeria may make over the concessioning of the Zungeru power plant with the Minister of State for Power and heads of various agencies in the power sector present at the committee. The Senate had in 2022 urged the Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission and the Bureau of Public Enterprises to terminate arrangements regarding the Zungeru power plants. But the committee on Thursday, however, quizzed the Minister of State for Power over the possibilities of gains on the concession of the 700 megawatts Zungeru hydroelectric power plant.
The fear of government was that if we allow government to start operating this plant, it might lead to just like any other one in the past. So before that happens, to get more value for it, let us at this period concession it. The concession is about 30 years from the report that BP have sent and the infrastructural concession this has sent. Concession it at, I think it's 70 million a year or so. $70 million a year for a period of 30 years.
Every year, government is going to get 70 million US dollars, okay, from an investment of $1.2 billion. Is that what we are talking about?
Yes.
Pure and simple. Now, the fear is if you utilize it, if you take it to manage, you may not be able to get the $70 million every year. That is the fear. That is the fear. But if you discount the fear, the opportunity cost of getting $70 million is higher.
We have concession at Kainji. We have concession other dams. These are large hydro, and they are part of national security, which I believe cannot be solved. So this is why we are concessioning. And the reason why we are aligning the concessioning with the completion of the project is not to allow gap in terms of running the facility.
We'll take a short break now. I'll be back with a review of the stock market. Just stay with us. The Nigeria Stock Exchange continued on its winning streak, gaining 9 billion naira at the end of trading on Friday. Similarly, the all-share index also improved, resting at 0.34%. Now, in the aggregate, 112 NGX-listed equities participated in trading, ending with 37 gainers and 13 losers. Computer Warehouse Group led the gainers with 10% share price appreciation, closing at 1 naira 32 kobo per share, followed by Len Africa at 2 naira 42 kobo per share. Now on the losers table, Transcorp Nigeria led with a 9.77% slip to close trading at ₦1.94 per share, leaving Trust Mortgage Bank followed with 9.73% loss in its share value to close at ₦2.69 per share. Now, at the end of last week's day of trading, a total of 482 million units of shares valued at 5.6 billion naira exchange hands in 5,298 deals. Now, a switch to our select global stocks, FTSE, Dow Jones and Nikkei, which all ended in the greens. I mean, take a look at this table. It's all in the greens. Now, thanks to gains in financial and energy shares, UK's FTSE recorded a boost, ending in the greens at 0.98%. And that's it on Stock Market Review and Business News. Back to you, Mary, for the rest of the news.
Thank you for the update, Folashade. Now, on the global scene, Serbian police have arrested a man suspected of killing 8 people and injuring at least 14 others in the country's second mass shooting this week, following a manhunt through the night. The back-to-back shootings have left Serbians horrified, spurring vows from President Aleksandar Vučić to launch a massive crackdown to remove hundreds of thousands of guns from the Balkan country. The incident happened less than 48 hours after the worst school shooting in Serbia's recent history, when a 13-year-old killed 9 people, including 8 fellow students at a school in downtown Belgrade on Wednesday. Well, it's time for Entertainment Report.
Dominating 2022 in an unprecedented fashion as he delivered back-to-back chart-topping hits before dropping a record-breaking album, Nigerian music star Asake has announced the date for his landmark performance at the 20,000-capacity arena concert. Famously known as Mr. Money with a Vibe, Asake has established himself as a foremost hit maker whose music has defined the recent Afrobeat soundscape. With his upcoming O2 Arena concert, Asake will be joining Davido, Wizkid and Burna Boy as Nigerian acts who have headlined the 20k capacity O2 Arena. A US court ruled that Ed Sheeran did not copy Marvin Gaye's Let's Get It On when composing Thinking Out Loud. Ed Sheeran had denied stealing elements of the song from his 2014 worldwide hit after a lawsuit was filed by the heirs of Gaye's co-writer Ed Townsend that harmonic progression and rhythmic elements of Sheeran's songs were lifted from the classic, made famous by Gaye without permission. A musicologist retained by Ed Sheeran in court says that the 4-chord sequence was used in a number of songs before Gaye's hit came out in 1973. Speaking outside court, Sheeran says he was obviously very happy with the ruling. That's it on the entertainment segment of News Now. Tamilore Akinkwole, TV360 Nigeria.
And now in sports, Nigerian football striker Victor Osimhen has equaled George Weah's record for highest African goal scorer in Serie A after netting in Napoli's 1-0 draw against Udinese on Thursday. Osimhen and Weah, a former AC Milan forward who is the current president of Liberia, have 46 goals each. The 24-year-old striker helped Napoli claim the title for the first time in 33 years. Reacting to Napoli's achievement, Italian and German legends Fabio Cannavaro and Bastian Schweinsteiger have sent congratulatory messages to the Nigerian and his Napoli teammates after they were crowned Serie A champions on Thursday. And that's our package. Thank you for watching. I am Mary Kanu. Bye for now.